Hey, where'd my go?
I'm here. Sorry about that. Good morning, everybody.
Gotta love it. Last minute coffee break, right?
I was trying, and it didn't get done in time.
Every time I see that coffee cup at the very opening of this, I'm like, man, I should have grabbed some coffee. I always got water with me, but I forgot the coffee.
Well, speaking of that, it's done. I'm going to grab it because that's my MO, and I need my coffee.
Well, there you go. There you go. We'll wait for the replay people. I guess going. Hey, happy 4th of July, everybody. I'm coming to you live from the woods somewhere. My view in front of me is beautiful. I've got a lake in front of me. I got a mountain in front of me, and I got the woods behind me. So it's a great 4th of July. Good start to the 4th of July, that's for sure. Happy Independence Day.
So it's not a fake Zoom background.
It is not a fake Zoom background. You got the RV on this side right here, and we got some friends over here. There we go. There's Reggie Williams' tent right over there. Reggie Williams. Not a fake background. This would make a good Zoom background.
It would. You definitely need to take a picture of that.
Yep.
So just like I thought, we've got one viewer.
Yep, that's probably
everybody's sleeping in today because they think they get the day off or something.
Yeah, they'll watch it later. We got to make it good, so they give them a reason to watch it later. That's what we're gonna do.
So today, we're talking about leadership and challenging yourself, being up for the challenge. Should be fun.
Should be.
Topic. Yep. All right. Now we got two viewers, and they're not even saying hi. So if you're, we're bumped up to 3 now. They're starting to roll out of bed. So if you're out there, say hi. Let us know you're there. Let us know who you are, because it's really important that we know who actually woke up to view this today.
Independence Day, especially, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, usually on the holidays, and stuff, we got a handful of people that actually show up and listen to us. So I love it. All right. Thing. Well, I'm going to pray us in real quick, and then we'll get right into a verse. Adam, let's say hi to Adam. Adam just showed up. Thanks for showing up, Adam. Good morning. we appreciate you watching. We love all our live listeners. We love interacting with you. You're the reason that we actually do this and get up on our days off and come on here. So, all right. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the beauty and the freedoms that we have. You've given us so much. You've given us so much that we underappreciate everything all the time. And I just want to thank you and let you know that we do appreciate everything that you've provided us. And as Jason's out in the beauty and nature that you've provided, be with his family and with those around him traveling this week so that he can come home safe and be on with us next week. Lord, I ask that you be with all of us watching and those that will watch later. Please be with us as we go about our day, the rest of our week, and allow us to continue your work on this world. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Man,
Adam says he wouldn't miss it. We're glad that you wouldn't miss it. We obviously didn't want to miss it either. I would have much rather stayed sleeping this morning. My alarm went off at 6. I was like, oh.
but for me, I mean, I get to get up and I'm in this surrounding. So I'm glad to be on it because it got me up this morning seeing all this. So pretty cool.
Exactly. We got Jonas chiming in finally. Jonas says that he watches, but he never chimes in. So good morning, Jonas. I'm glad you're here.
Gentlemen, say that.
What's that?
He said, gentlemen. Good morning, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, yeah. He's obviously talking to somebody else.
All right. How about a scripture today?
What do you got?
I have Isaiah 32. And I'm skipping a couple sentences here, but it starts where it says, leaders should make fair decisions when they lead the people. I think that's a great start to that, right? Absolutely. If this would happen, the king would be like a shelter to hide from the wind and rain, like streams of water in a dry land, and like the cool shadow of a large rock in a hot land. Think about that. If the leader would make fair decisions, that king would be like a shelter. Think about that. That's some cool wording right there. The people would actually see what they look at. They would actually listen to what they hear. And people who are now confused would be able to understand. Those who cannot speak clearly now would be able to speak clearly and quickly. Man, that fits in well with our leadership topic today. If any scripture, I think, out of all of them, you know.
Absolutely. Anyway. I mean, so yeah, we're talking about challenge today, you know, and challenging yourself as a leader and challenging your team and those around you. You know, I was telling Jason, I came up with this topic and I was like, what am I going to talk about? You know, leadership is our theme for the week. And that's kind of a generic topic. But I was telling Jason that yesterday I did 2 of my employees' 90-day reviews. Mm-hmm. And I told them the first thing that I asked them, you know, let's go over your challenges. What are your struggles? You know, let's crush the struggle bus and get it out of the way. And they were like, oh, I'm not really struggling with much, you know, everything's pretty good. And I'm like, so there's no challenges with the work that you're doing or learning things or, you know, things that I'm doing could do better, you know, and they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, you're way too kind or you're lying, you know. I was just like, if you're not struggling with something and you're not challenged, then you need to be challenged because you're not growing, you know.
There's the growth opportunity.
Yeah. So I was like, you know, it started causing me to think throughout the day, am I challenging myself enough?
Mhm.
You know, like I challenge myself all the time, but am I challenging myself, hard?
Yeah.
You know, and I as I explained this to them, I was like, I'm gonna start challenging you. I'm gonna start dumping things on your plate. And it's not because I'm just trying to offload things from myself. I need to challenge you so that you can continue to grow and learn and get better at everything as a whole
Yeah.
and kind of see more of the big picture. So if you guys are out there, and you're just coasting along, when you coast along, things get really monotonous really quick.
Yeah.
So what are you coming up with? What are you doing to challenge yourself and kind of stimulate your own mind so that you can expand and grow,
Yeah.
in
100%.
just internally. And how are you challenging your employees? If you're not a one-man show and you've got some employees, what are you doing to challenge your employees?
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes that's for me, that alone is a challenge in itself. What do I trust my employees with that's going to challenge them, that I can afford to have them make mistakes? Because like you give Jason, you give
Yeah.
an employee an opportunity to do something new, you have to expect them to screw some things up.
Yeah. There
You
has to
know,
be some grace there for sure. Yeah. Especially in our business. I mean, in our business, if a mistake is made, it could cost a lot of money for our client.
right?
So, um, yeah, there has to be a lot of grace and a lot of training and leadership that goes on with that. I know with us, we are very clear on setting goals and expectations for all of our team, and that's from the top down, from Shayna and I, all the way down to the new trainees. I'm in the middle of writing up a scorecard for the marketing department and creating an SOP for the marketing department because that's what I'm over right now. And so there's expectations even for me. Um, the, the biggest thing I think with making sure that you have setting clear goals and expectations for your team is also checking in with them. We do one-on-ones every week with every team member in our company, and so there's a consistent check-in. Hey, how are you doing? We used a format by The Coaching Habit. There's a book called The Coaching Habit, and there's like 7 questions that they use in that. And the first one is always, "What's on your mind?" That's how each one-on-one starts. Hey, what's on your mind? Just let them talk. What else? What else? Until they just literally, "No, nothing else." Okay. So what's the real challenge for you here? That's another crucial part of asking what's going on in that check-in process. So, and there's a few other questions that goes along with it, but those are kind of like the 3 critical ones to really just kind of keep in check with them. And then, how can I help you? Get through these challenges or these goals.
Right.
And then, yeah, so definitely clear set goals and expectations in writing. That's a big thing. Have your SOP in writing, so it's not just floating out here in la la land and they're like, "Well, I was never told that."
Mhm.
In writing, you were told that. It's right here. I think another good part, I've been involved with scouting for years, and they use the EDGE method, right?
Yep.
Gosh, let's see if I can remember what EDGE stands for. Educate. Oh, crud.
I
Educate.
don't remember it
I can't
either.
remember what D is. G is guide. No, explain. Explain. I'm gonna have to look it up now. But anyway, it's a good method of teaching somebody because you're showing them how to do it first. Then you are uh, helping them to do it. Then
Right.
you're letting them do it, and then you're stepping back completely, and then just looking for, praise or mistakes, right? So
Right. Well, it goes along with that, the Maxwell method of mentorship, where
got it.
you go ahead.
Okay, so EDGE stands for explain, demonstrate, guide, and enable. Wow, 12 years of scouting, and I couldn't remember that.
I didn't remember it either.
it's a great leadership tool too. All right.
Yeah. Good morning, Gasper. G Money. Happy 4th of July. Yeah. So, how do you use these tools? Like, let me ask you, Jason, and anybody else out there that's watching, what do you do to challenge your people and yourself? Like, have you ever really thought about it in a purposeful way? You know, I've been in a lot of challenging situations, and sometimes I do some things, and it's like, you know what, I really want to learn this, so I'm gonna just dig in and really challenge myself. But I didn't like have a pre thought out plan for it, you know, and that's kind of,
Yeah.
I just did it, you know, and a lot of people, that's not in their nature to do those things. So when you write it down, like with my employees yesterday, I told them, you know, since we're all virtual, we did everything on Zoom, these meetings on Zoom.
Yeah.
And the first thing I did, I said, do you mind if I record this so that I can take notes later? Because I know I'm going to miss things, and I really want to pay attention to you during the conversation instead of taking a bunch of notes. And then whatever we come up with the goals, I'm going to write those down in a plan. I'm going to send it to you. We'll both know. And that way it's documented, and we can benchmark things, you know, in the next review, and we can track the progress that way. So what do you do at My Office Help or in your previous business? What have you done or currently do along those lines?
Oh, to challenge myself. So let's start personally. Challenging myself, I'll be completely transparent, has been tough in the last couple of years, because I got to a point in my electrical world where I was complacent, and it was like, I'm happy just doing what I'm doing, right? I didn't see myself growing that company anymore, so I just kind of got complacent. It really wasn't until I made the decision in that May 1st was going to be my last day doing electrical work, and that I would come into My Office Help 100%. Did I really start seeing challenges come back in my personal life, because it intertwined with my business life. So then I remember the first 2 or 3 weeks, I was sitting there thinking, yeah, I've got these big audacious goals. I'm going to hammer them out. And here in 3 or 4 months, things are going to be great. 3 or 4 months come, and I'm like, oh, crap, I didn't nearly get anything that I really wanted to accomplish get done. But so I made too many mistakes of getting one big audacious goal, right? So I had to back up. The biggest parts of it were, okay, I'm going to take marketing, I'm going to take training, and I'm going to take mentoring and coaching and sales, right? So a huge chunk for somebody to take on. So I had to literally step back and say, okay, this is way too much. I'm just going to cover marketing for right now. Shane is doing decent with sales, so let's keep her on sales. And then I'm only doing leadership training. That's all that I'm doing. So we have a weekly L&L meeting, lunch and learn. And then, so just take a big step back and see what's not working well. And I think that's a huge first step is, you know, you want to set your goals of what you want to accomplish, but then you got to be realistic about those goals too. So I took a big step back and started in with just marketing. Ended up hiring a marketing consultant, Tom Harness, who was on our podcast a couple of weeks ago. Been incredible. He's a longtime friend of mine. He had a huge business at one point, and he kind of did the same thing. He had to take a step back and see what was more important in his life, and business was not important to him at that point. It was some other areas, and so there's a good friendship there, but there's also a line where when he comes in the office, he's consultant Tom Harness. He's not best friend Tom Harness, right?
Right.
And hired him, and that was one of the best things that we could have done because it gave me a big step on creating a marketing strategy. And now that marketing strategy is almost about 2 months in, now I'm starting to create the systems and processes for it. So I can start training somebody else to come in under me to start doing those things. And then at that point, I'll start in on sales. So set a goal, right? Stop complaining. I think is another huge part of this part of it. Doing something creative. I love being creative with our marketing. We've had a lot of fun. Sierra does all of our TikToks. I take care of everything else. So when it comes to creative stuff, she's coming to me about TikTok stuff. And it's like, yeah, cool. As long as it's like, FYP stuff. All right, let's get something trending, TikTok is weird. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is. FYP, that's for you page, right?
Yeah, for your page. Hashtag FYP. I think another big part of
I'm sure all of our people out there are very avid TikTokers.
Well, as we were creating this marketing strategy, I'm a Facebook guy. Like, that's all I use, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we started looking at our avatars for our business, Twitter, LinkedIn is actually huge. LinkedIn is probably more so than Facebook. So you got LinkedIn and Facebook are probably the two top ones. Then you got Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. And it's like, oh my gosh. So we have a strategy for each one of those channels. And the biggest part of it is for the marketing part, when we go somewhere and that person is a Twitter user, they can look on our Twitter handle and say, yeah, they do have followers. Okay, this is a legit business. For some reason, social media has gotten to the point where it identifies if a business is legit or not.
Yep.
Isn't that nuts?
Yes.
They have a huge following on social media, so they're a legit customer. So, yeah, getting back to the part of it, strategy. I think for me, another one is like purging, cleaning up your house, your desk area. It keeps the clutter away and it keeps you focused on your priorities. So even for our team, they get extra points every day for straightening up their desk, right? So it helps to keep that clutter down. So, I mean, there's tons of different ways you can go about that. But
man, my desk is right now. It's like you just drove a nail right through my forehead when you said that. Because I'm looking at my desk, I'm like, I got a pile of envelopes and like books, stacked up, and it's just messy.
Well, take one. I remember this. We walked into our CPA's office one year. Well, maybe 2 years ago. It's 2 years ago. And I just remember seeing piles of file folders stacked all around his room. I'm thinking, do we really want to have this guy as our CPA? It's like, how does he know where anything's at? But he had a system. And so we went back in there a couple weeks ago and I walked in and I was like, everything was cleaned up. He gotten rid of this big old shelf that had clutter on it. I'm like, oh, Carlos, your office looks different. He goes, yeah, I cleaned up. He's a simple guy. But there were still file folders everywhere, but just not as bad. I cleaned up. So little things like that can help too.
I mean, if he just opened the closet and threw a bunch of stuff in the closet, it's still organized. That's a different story. You just can't see it.
I mean, think about that in your work vans. I'm going to call out a lot of people. I'm not going to say their names, but I've rode with a bunch of you. You want to challenge yourself? Take some time to clean out that nasty work truck. I'm just saying.
Yep. Exactly. Like Gaspar said, I'm a work in progress. Truck is great. Working on an office.
I tell you, the thing that I sold my last box truck. It was like Elijah, I burned my wagon. That was a tough thing for me to do because that was like the last final straw was selling my service truck. It's like, okay, I'm like Elijah in the Bible. I burned my wagon. I'm ready to go follow what I'm supposed to be doing. But people would literally come out to my truck when I got there. And then and this is no joke. Customers would be like, okay, I got to see the back of this box truck. It's like, why is that? They said, they told me online that you had a mobile office or a mobile warehouse on wheels coming to my house with thousands of parts. I'm like, sure bet. So I'd roll up the back of it, let them see it because I always kept it clean. Like parts were organized, truck was clean.
Yeah.
So talk about a challenge and how to challenge yourself in leadership. Start by cleaning your own truck. Start by cleaning your own desk. There's a challenge.
You know what? It's true because if sometimes I look at some of these service vehicles, in my neighborhood and that have come to my own house, and things, and it's like, you know what? If you're that disorganized in your work, what is your home life like? And like what else is really disorganized in your life?
Mhm.
And you know, it's like a trust thing almost. If you're dealing with someone who's very disorganized, you're not going to trust them very much.
Yep.
So, I mean, think about how that looks to others if you're very messy and disorganized and you're working in
Yep.
someone's home, you're messy and disorganized in their home. You know, what are they going to say about you?
Yep.
Or bare minimum, what are they thinking about you?
Man, if you Google how to challenge yourself, there's so many great ways to come up. And a lot of it, of course, comes to personal. So there's a good thing. Just Google if you're having struggle challenging yourself in your personal life. I would say another good thing is to start with your own core um, core focus or core values in your own personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's one
Ask
thing
those
that
that
I
are
did.
closest to you, that know you the best. They'll help you.
Yeah, that's a great way to start with challenging yourself because every day you can look at, okay, did I believe in myself? These are my own core values. Right? Did I believe in myself today? Was I intentional today? Was I a promoter today? Did I love God, love others today? Right? Those are my core values. I have them on my phone. Look at them every day. So maybe start if you don't have core values in your own personal life, start there because your core values in your personal life will lead over to core values in your business life. Or you may have to go the other way around, right?
Yeah.
So core values for business right there on my phone as well. So think about that. It's another good way to challenge yourself. Start with your core values.
Yeah. And your personal and business core values don't have to be the same, but they should be aligned.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That's where a lot of people have a misconception, that your core values have to be the same in your personal beliefs and in your business life.
Nope.
And they just have to be aligned.
My neighbor's out and about.
Yeah. Hi, neighbor.
He can't hear. I
He
got to hear.
can't hear you because he can't hear because of the earbuds. But all right. Well, what is everybody else out there thinking? What are you doing to challenge yourself? I want to hear from our listeners. What I know, was that Shayna that chimed in as my office help, or was that you?
That was me.
Was
I
it?
was
All
trying to
right.
get some likes going on this for you.
I was gonna say, if that was Shayna, I need to challenge her to get her butt out of the
No,
camper
I
and
guarantee it. She's still in
make an
bed.
appearance. But anyway, what are you guys challenging yourself? Oh, she's there. I'm gonna
Oh,
challenge her to come out
oh.
and say hi. She's gonna say, "Oh, I got to do my makeup. My hair's a mess." I can hear
You'd
it
be
now.
surprised. Shayna is.
Does she just roll out of bed beautiful every day?
She does. She does. 1,000%. You like? I'm going to say anything else?
That's the correct answer, Jason. You have to say that.
I mean, this is how
Every
I rolled out of bed today. Ain't that beautiful?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that you sent me a message so early because I was like,
Yeah.
man, the dude didn't even have to get up and wash his hair.
That's the benefits. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I actually like being bald. I started balding at 23, and I did
Wow.
this uh, challenge where you raise money for kids with cancer. It's St. Baldrick's Foundation. Started doing that 2017 or so, and so you'd raise money, have a big party, you shave your head, everybody celebrates, and helps a lot with the kids. And the one year it just kind of stuck. I'm like, I kind of like this look. I'm gonna leave it be.
It looks good on you.
Yep.
So I guess nobody's challenged. Nobody's chimed in
Nice
yet.
challenge.
I know there's a little bit of a delay in the stream, so sometimes we just have to wait. But you know, Gasper's going to have a challenge with his new truck. He's going to have to make sure it's super clean and organized.
So I'll feed into another one. um, challenging myself leadership wise, I joined Maxwell Leadership back in 2020 or 2021. And the purpose of it was to challenge myself personally, but then also to help figure out some things on how I can train better as a leader. And so it all equates back to business, but that's been a really cool thing to be part of, is the Maxwell Leadership Team.
I joined it last fall,
Yeah.
and I honestly, it's been a challenge for me, big time. Oh, did somebody wander out?
He's rolling out. Yep.
The dead is alive.
What's that? Oh, she had to change her shirt. She didn't put makeup on. She had to change her shirt. Here, you want to chime in? You want to chime in on how you develop yourself as a leader?
Hey. She's just in there stalking us, listening to us talk about her.
So how do you challenge yourself as a leader?
I get up every morning, bright and early before everybody else. I work on me first, develop me as a leader and as a person, reading and prayer time and Bible time and all that fun stuff. That's my main way that I challenge myself.
There you
Awesome.
go. All of a sudden, we started getting more likes and more comments in the feed. So it's crazy. Shayna shows up.
Shayna shows up and everything changes.
Mm-hmm. I just woke up this beautiful.
We got a comment. Adam says, yesterday I finished going through our inventory I had never done, and we had 50-year-old parts. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it was hard to find time to do that and still get everything else done.
Yeah. That reminds me of Shayna's dad. He'll never watch this, so I can easily say it. When we took over the company from him, it was a nightmare. Like, there were parts, I guarantee you, were at least 20 years old at that point, if not older. He bought out this a local place that sells parts 20 years before. So it would have been 94, 95 when they went out of business, and he bought them out. I had parts stuff from that. So I had a guy loaded up a trailer, had a guy came and I can't remember if he gave us anything or if he just took it off just to get it out of there. It was bad.
Yeah.
Stuff like we would never use in residential service.
I did that once, and I used to own a high performance auto parts company. Mm-hmm. And I had a competitor that was going out of business, and he was trying to sell off all his stuff, at a swap meet. And I'm like, how much for everything you've got? Just a blanket everything, and you can just pack it up and go home, and I can swing by your place and pick up all the rest, So that's what I did. And I brought trailer loads home. And I'll tell you what, going through all that crap, it was like, why do people keep this stuff?
Yep.
I might use it someday, and my garage was such a mess that I had to say, if I haven't touched this in 3 years, it's getting pitched. And then I ended up saying, you know what, if I haven't touched, once I got that done, I'm like, you know what, if I haven't touched it in a year, I don't need it, and I just purged.
Yep.
And literally stuff just went in the garbage, or, I sold it to somebody else that was a hoarder,
Yeah, 100%. And I was one of those purging things. Go through your truck inventory stock. And I would typically go through my truck inventory at least once a month, but on an inventory basis, now you've got barcodes and scanning and everything, but which helps with that. But if not twice a year, I would go through both my pricing and my truck inventory to see what parts are not useful, what parts I may need more of. So yeah, that's great.
You could find returns that you didn't even realize you had or forgot about, and you're like, oh crap, I got to send that back, and that's how that works. You could find cores that you guys sitting around, at least get some core charges back. So, I mean, there's money in that.
I'm going to go wake up my kids.
All right. Good seeing you.
Bye, everybody.
Toodles. You get the earwax out.
Oh
No.
my God.
G Money says, when I sold my house in New York after 20 years, I filled two 20-yard containers.
Wow.
It's amazing how much we keep, that we don't realize that we keep.
Yeah, I had a really good friend of mine that was he's an electrician up in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and they made a decision to. I'll give you the short version. Made a decision to move to Hawaii, and so they sold everything except for 2 crates that were, I believe he said they were 4 foot by 4 foot, a crate pallet, and they shipped those to Hawaii in their vehicle, and it cost them 10 grand to get those 2 pallets and their vehicle to Hawaii. That were on the Big Island, and so just imagine taking your entire life and putting it into 2 4x4 crates.
Right.
That would be nuts.
I mean, in reality, we technically don't even need those 2 crates.
Yeah.
In reality, you could start over from nothing with just your knowledge somehow, and still make it just fine.
Yeah.
But we are a society in a race of things that we want things, and we have to have our comforts. So,
Morning. How's it going?
yeah. But all right. Well, we can wrap it up. It's been about 35 minutes. So
Yeah, I would say one last challenge for everybody today before we jump off. Today is 4th of July. It's Independence Day.
yes.
Some people who are British may not like this day, but those of us that are here in the United States of America, we really appreciate this day. So do some research on the founding fathers and yeah, look at some history of our country. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
From our point of view, it's pretty cool to see. We wouldn't be able to do this, have these kind of conversations. We wouldn't be able to have businesses if it wasn't for what happened.
Yeah, our freedoms were fought, and people died for those freedoms and have continued to die for those freedoms for, 247 years now. I think it's 247 years, is what we're celebrating. So
the quick math.
I mean, think about that. Not to make this longer, but 247 years.
Yeah.
And then you read the Bible and you realize there were civilizations around for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Thousands. Imagine thousands. Imagine America being thousands of years old.
We're a baby compared to many of the civilizations.
Our society has grown exponentially in 247 years.
Yep.
Compared to progress in Europe, and like that same amount of time, Europe has obviously grown that fast too. But it's just wild to me how much, when I look at the history and compare what America is, or just all of North America, and how different things are in this part of the world, how new and how much of a baby it is, But then you get down in Mexico and you look at the Aztec cultures and stuff, and they were thousands of years old too. But America itself is just so finite.
Yeah. All right. Well,
everybody, enjoy your 4th of July. Stay safe. Have fun with your family and friends. And Jason, you have fun. You're in a beautiful area.
Yeah, we get to. If you've never been to Stone Mountain, Georgia, that's where we're at. And literally, as of today, I was 12 years old when I first came to Stone Mountain, Georgia, with my parents. And I just remember the laser light show and the fireworks on 4th of July was like the absolute best I'd ever seen, and still yet to today. 44 now, so 32 years later, just the incredible fireworks and laser show that they do and celebration. It's pretty neat. So I get to join my family again tonight.
Cool with the fireworks smoke.
Yep. And they've added drones now, so they have a drone show as part of this. So,
Oh wow!
anyway, and I get to hang out with Reggie Williams today. I'm cooking breakfast for all of our families. So
yeah.
anyway,
Alrighty.
you all have a great 4th of
Reggie,
July.
we said hi.
We'll
Tell him next time he's got to get there earlier so he could be on with us.
Yeah. I'm glamping. He's tent camping. I spent many years tent camping, and then when our oldest got his eagle, my wife is like, "Yeah, I'm never tent camping again," and she hasn't. I have.
Yeah.
She hasn't. We glamp.
I've had my fill of that too.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Have a good 4th.
Enjoy yourselves, everyone. Have a good day.
See ya.
Bye.